makes the best Pinot, Burgundy or Oregon? I'll tell you if you stop calling Pinot Noir Pinot. It's Pocket Wine School. I'm Tommy Troll, sommelier and wine director at Peppervine. Today we're talking about Pinot Noir, that gentle, disease-prone grape with an even thinner skin than Kanye West, and how the wines of Oregon and Burgundy compare. Pinot Noir first showed its head in Burgundy in the 1340s, but the grape itself is even older, perhaps 2,000 years, making the 400-year-old Cabernet Sauvignon grape look like a pants-wetting toddler. Over the course of the next few centuries, Catholic monks transformed Burgundy into the premier home of both Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, making superstars not just of the grapes, but of Burgundy's subregions, vineyards, and even specific subplots of those vineyards. Oregon, that Pacific Northwestern state known for hipsters and for housing a video game trail that threatens to kill you with dysentery, began making Pinot Noir in the ancient year of 1965. The same year the Germans invented the video phone, Hillary Clinton graduated high school, and Muhammad Ali knocked Sonny Liston on his ass for the cameras. So we know who did it first. Burgundy, if math isn't your thing. But who does it better? Well, given that these are the only two regions in the world making high-quality Pinot Noir, we better make a decision. Let's take a look at what makes them different, and also what makes them very much the same. And let's definitely take a look at the grape itself, what to expect from it, and why the dark, semi-sweet beverages made by the folks at Meiomi, Han, and Bread and Butter are very atypical takes on this elegant, distinct wine. Now, a question for you. Where does Pinot Noir originally come from? Don't answer that, I can't hear you. But if you said France, you are right. Maybe. It's possible the grape originated not in Burgundy, but in northeastern France, possibly around Alsace. But it's also possible the grape originated in southwestern Germany, maybe from what is now Baden. Germany still makes very high-quality Pinot Noir, although you may see it listed on the German labels as Spätburgunder. But it's truly Burgundy where Pinot Noir began to sing, mostly due to Burgundy's excellent karaoke bars. In the Middle Ages, there were two great red grapes growing in Burgundy, Pinot Noir and Gamay. As Pinot Noir is a difficult grape to grow, being highly prone to disease as well as other development issues, while the similar grape, Gamay, grew like a weed all through the region, the Dukes of Burgundy decided Pinot Noir was the fancier grape and literally kicked Gamay out of Burgundy and down to the region of Beaujolais, where it flourishes today. Around this time, the Cistercian monks of the area took their interest in making communion wine to the next level, experimenting with the diverse soils, slopes, and different planting and vinification techniques in order to come up with wines that quickly became very highly esteemed. Subregions like Citeaux, Vézelay, and Cluny became famous for their wines, eventually giving way to the spectacular appellations of Nuits Saint-Georges, Volnay, Vougeot, gevrey-chambertin, and so many more. The grape also made its way to the very northerly Champagne region, where it remains one of the three main grapes used in Champagne. By the way, Champagne also makes delicious, light, earthy, still red wines from this grape under the Coteaux Champenoise label. Definitely worth a try. Other amazing Pinot Noir regions include the Casablanca Valley in Chile, Central Otago in New Zealand, South Africa, Northern Italy, and cool climate parts of California like Anderson Valley and Santa Barbara. But it's Burgundy that continues to claim primacy in the Pinot Noir world in terms of prestige, price, and critical acclaim. So what makes Burgundy so great? Pinot Noir is a very thin skin. As the skin is where the anthocyanins, or color compounds, are located, this means Pinot Noir tends to produce wines that are paler than average. Note, this is not always the case. Warmer climate Pinot Noir is often darker, and on a more sinister note, some producers of commercial wine darken their Pinot Noir with other grapes like Petit Syrah, or with sweetening and coloring extracts like Mega Purple. For those of you who struggle with bitter tannins like those found in Cabernet Sauvignon and Tempranillo, I have good news. You can save up to 15% on your car insurance with Geico. Also, Pinot Noir tends to have low tannins. The flavors lean toward red fruit like cherries, raspberries, or other berries, and the wines often have a musty, earthy aroma, especially with age. Think potting soil, or walking through a wet forest, or even fresh raw mushrooms. That earthiness is one of the great things about Pinot Noir. When I run across a Pinot Noir that simply presents as fruity, I'm usually disappointed. There are so many other non-earthy grapes with a light body and similar berry-flavored profiles such as Gamay, Liatico, Schiava, and many more that I'd rather explore. And this earthiness is one of the hallmarks of Burgundian Pinot Noir, especially the age-worthy appellation and terroir-driven wines of northern Burgundy. This region is known as the Côte d'Or and is located south of Chablis. The Côte d'Or divides further into two subregions, the Côte de Nuit and the Côte de Beaune. Both regions make exceedingly high-quality Pinot Noir, although it is the slightly more northerly Côte de Nuit that showcases the grape at its absolute finest. Romanée-Conti is the one you'll probably have to sell your house to buy, but Vosges-Romanée, Gevrey-Chambertin, Louis Saint-Georges, and Vougeot are home to some of the most prestigious wines. A little further in the south, in the Côte de Beaune, there's a little more sun. While the Côte de Beaune is better known for its incredible Chardonnays, there's excellent Pinot Noir here in Volnay, Promar, Courton, and the village of Beaune itself. Burgundian Pinot Noir does differ considerably from village to village, from vineyard to vineyard, and from plot to plot. After all, France, Burgundy in particular, places much more emphasis on terroir, referring to the soil, the weather, the climate, the topography, and other natural factors, than it does on the winemaking. The rule of thumb is that the winemaker should get out of the way of terroir. For this reason, you may get a significantly different Pinot Noir from one spot in a vineyard than you do from a slightly warmer spot 5 rows away. That said, there are common characteristics that make Burgundy Reds, well, Burgundy Reds. In addition to red fruit flavors, Burgundian Pinot Noir shows aromas of violets when young, sometimes accompanied by baking spices. As it ages, meaty, leathery, and even gamey aromas can develop. The pale wines become even paler, taking on orange and brown hues. And while very well-made Burgundian Pinot Noir can age well, the low tannins keep it from aging as well as more tannic grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot. In truth, it's the higher acid levels that give it staying power and structure. But what about Oregonian wine? Can it compete? For wine drinkers in the United States, Oregon is synonymous with the best Pinot Noir. And while the supremacy of Oregonian Pinot Noir greatly diminishes once you step off of U.S. soil, it is true that Oregon, in particular the Willamette Valley, is capable of some world-class Pinot Noir. Originally chosen as an alternative to the often too hot for Pinot Noir climates of California, the Willamette Valley proved to be an ideal spot for this too fragile grape. The temperatures are cooled by ocean breezes coming in through gaps in the mountains, which is perfect for a grape like this. And the rain mostly happens during the fall and winter. While we think of rain as being good for crops, with grapevines, it's tricky. Rain and humidity increase the likelihood of disease. Pinot Noir's thin skins and tightly clustered berries provide very little defense against funguses. Fungi? I'm a fun guy. Try me out. The lack of rain clouds means that Willamette Valley gets lots of sun. Pinot Noir buds early and ripens early. That copious sunlight means that grapes have sufficient time to ripen and can be harvested before the autumn rains fall. Not that it's never left on the vine to get extra ripe. Alcohol levels in Oregon Pinot Noir have been creeping and sometimes vaulting up, occasionally approaching 16%, though this issue is not singular to Oregon. The initial Pinot Noir winemakers in Oregon consciously chose to model their wines and their winemaking industry on that of Burgundy, giving it the nickname America's Burgundy. And like with its French counterpart, Willamette Valley subdivides into smaller sections with their own local characteristics. The subregions to know are Yamhill Carlton, Eola Amity, Dundee Hills, McMinnville, Chehalem Mountains, the Van Duzer Corridor, and Ribbon Ridge. Dundee Hills in particular helped put Willamette Valley on the map in 1979 when Sokol Blosser beat out some heavy hitter Burgundies in a notable competition, 3 years after California trounced Bordeaux at the Judgment of Paris. This was the shot of confidence that the region needed, and thus began the true birth of serious Oregon Pinot Noir. Willamette soils are mildly diverse, although their standout soil is called gevrey. It's a red, iron-rich soil. These dark, structured soils absorb and radiate heat, which helps ripen the grapes, particularly the ones lower to the ground, which may not see as much sunlight from above. Contrast this with the largely limestone-based soils of Burgundy, though this is a vast oversimplification, which helps preserve the grapes' vital acidity and can aid in the wines, as much as I hate this term, I'm going to say it, minerality. In terms of flavors, Oregonian wine tends to be more fruit-forward, although the best wines still show those hallmark Burgundian floral and earthy notes. The most notable grape clones used in the area, and I'll talk about grape clones in another video, are Dijon clones, and as many Oregonian winemakers will be proud to tell you, Pommard clones, both of which are sourced from Burgundy. So who wins? Well, if you're drinking wine from either of these regions, you do, particularly if somebody else is paying. In a stricter sense, Burgundy probably takes the lead when it comes to complexity and prestige. But more importantly, we as exploratory wine lovers need to stop assuming that if a region is capable of making great wines from a particular grape, that all wines from that region are necessarily better. Is a $20 Oregon Pinot Noir necessarily better than a $10 New Zealand one? Is a $20 Burgundy necessarily better than a $10 Chilean one? Of course not. And in truth, there's probably more diversity within the wines of Oregon or Burgundy than there is between the two of them as collective units. So here's my piece of advice to you. If you are a casual wine drinker, there's no problem letting your own personal taste be your guide. But if you are a true lover of wine, if you are a student of this, the world's greatest beverage, and odds are that if you're watching this channel, that's who you are, then Oregon and Burgundy are not either or. It's both and more. Have some friends over and have somebody bring a bottle of Burgundy, somebody else a bottle of Oregon, and a Chilean, and a South African, and a Californian, and a German, and a New Zealand. My apologies if you don't have that many friends, but taste them all, see what the wines have in common, and see how they're different. Keep the prices low, teach yourself all the different things that Pinot Noir can be, and then go spend some more on more prestigious appellation-based wines as a celebration of something like a job promotion or getting out of rehab. But drink, not just to see what you like, but to see what's possible. And that's it for Oregon v. Burgundy, Dawn of Pumice. If this video tickled your fancy, hit like and subscribe for plenty more about the world of wines, debunking myths, spreading some science, and celebrating wine's awesomeness. I've been Tommy Troll, and hopefully will continue to be. And as always, rock out with your cork out.